Hi all, in this video today we're going to be going over the solutions for the mixed trig checkup that you were attempting. So there was 3 questions for you to try, and this was an exercise for you in order for you to practice selecting the right formula in order to answer a question, okay? Because we've got 5 formulas that we use whilst using trigonometry, okay? So we've got the sine rule formula for both an angle and a side, although it looks the same. Okay, it's written only once on your formula sheet, so you just have to remember to flip it. We have the 2 cosine rule formulas, okay, so one for finding a missing side, one for finding a missing angle. Then we also have the area of a triangle formula that involves a sine function too. Okay, so there's 5 formulas in all, and we always need to decide what one are we best using in order to answer this question. Okay, so let's have a look at these 3 questions to see. So this first question is asking us to find the missing length x. So I have either got to use the sine rule for that or the cosine rule, starting with a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. That's the one that helps finding a missing side. Okay, so first of all, in order to work this out, what we're going to do is we're going to label our triangle. Okay, so opposite angle A is length A, opposite angle B is length B, opposite angle C is length C. My advice was always to check the cosine rule first. So my job is to find x, which is a. So that means if it was the cosine rule, it means I'd be using a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos of a. Okay, and now I need to see, do I have all the information? So I'm going to try and put all my numbers in. Okay, do I know what b is? Well, yes, b is 10, so it's going to be 10 squared. Do I know what c is? Well, c is 18, so it's going to be 18 squared. Take away 2 lots of 10 times 18 times cos of my angle at A, I know the angle A, which is 64. So the cosine rule will work for us here because I've got all the numbers that I need, okay? So I don't need to worry about trying the sine rule. If I do that, okay, and I put it into my calculator, I get 266.186 coming out. Remember, that's the length of A squared. We want to find the length of A, which means that I take the square root and I get 16.315 which gives me 16.32 centimeters. Okay, so that is the answer for x. Okay, and this turned out to be a cosine rule question. Okay, we tried that first and we had all the information, so we could go with it. Okay, we'll look at the next question to see how we tackle this. So the next question is, again, we want to find a missing length x. Okay, so again, we label a triangle first of all. That means that it's going to be b over here and c over here. Now, if it's the cosine rule, okay, that means that I want to work this out for c, so that means I've got to write this slightly differently. So it's going to be c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 lots of ab cos of the angle at C. Okay, so I've wrote the cosine rule just so that it's working out a C rather than an A squared. Okay, so do I have all the information? Okay, do I know what A squared is? Well, I don't know what A is, therefore I can't use this. Okay, this is not going to help. Okay, so this won't work. Okay, the reason being I don't know what A is. Okay, I don't even know what a I know the rest, I know what b squared is, okay, but I can't work out what a or a squared is, so that means it won't work then. Therefore, this is going to be a sine rule question, okay. Because it's a missing side, we're going to go a over sine a equals b over sine b equals c over sine c, and we're going to tick what we know and what we want to find out. So I know my length of b, and I want to find the length at c. I know my angle at b, I know my angle at c, so it's with those two I'm going to use there. Now I'm going to write it with the c's first, therefore I'm going to have the x on the left hand side. Okay, so that's going to be c over sine c equals b over sine, not sine b, not sine c, sorry, it should be sine c. Let's try that again. Oh, I've just done it again. Sine b. There we are. Okay, that's much better. So c is x, we don't know that, but it's going to be sine of the angle at c, and the angle at c is 32. That equals b, which is 75, over sine of 50. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to take this sine 32 over to the other side, okay, and it's going to multiply. Okay, so x is going to be 75 over sine 50 times sine 32. If you do that, and you get 51.882, that's what I get anyway, which becomes 51.88 centimeters. Okay, so there's an example of a question where if we try the cosine rule first, it turns out that it wouldn't help us if we didn't have all the information, therefore it had to be a sine rule question. Okay, so we used the sine rule and we've got our answer for x coming out. Okay, we'll get one last one. So this one's finding an angle. So again, we're going to check the cosine rule version first, and then we'll check this. If that doesn't work, we'll use the sine rule. Okay, so again, we're going to label it up, and we've got different letters. So length f is going to go there, length d is going to go there, and length e is going to go across here. So if I want to work at the angle at f, so using the cosine rule, so the cosine rule is cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. So if I change that for f, therefore it's going to be d squared plus e squared minus f squared all over 2 lots of d times e. And here I can see that this will not work, okay? I know what d is, so therefore I can work out d squared, but I don't have a length for e. So this will not help me, okay, because I need to know what the length of e would have been in order to use this, okay? So this, unfortunately, again, won't work. But we've tried it, and we'll see that it doesn't work. Therefore, we know, we're confident, it's going to be the sine rule, okay? Now, the sine rule for finding an angle, we're going to write the sign of the capital letters on top. So it's going to be sine of d over d equals sine of e over e equals sine of f over f. Tick what we know and what we want to find out. So I know my angle at d, so I'm going to tick that. I know my length of d. I want to know the angle at f, and I know my length of f, so that's the one I want to find. Again, I'm going to write the f's first because that's where my x is going to be. So sine of the angle f is going to be sine of x over the length f, which is 152. That's going to equal sine of d, which is sine of 52, over d, which is 120. So again, similar to what we've done in the last example, we're going to bring this 152 over, it's going to multiply. So sine of x equals sine 52 over 120 times 152. If you put that into your calculator, you get 0.99814. Okay, there's a lot more to that. And that is the answer for sine of x. However, I want the angle at x. So to get rid of that sine, we do the sine inverse of 0.99814. And the sine inverse of that will lead us to an answer of 86.51 degrees. Okay, so that is the answer to those 3 questions I asked you to try. Please make sure that you've attempted them, you've had a look at the solution so that you can see where it was that you've done well, and also if there was any improvements being made, how you can do that for future activities, because you'll be trying past paper questions very soon. Okay, thank you.